The Megalania was a truly terrifying lizard that roamed Australia over 40,000 years ago. It was the largest terrestrial lizard known to have existed. Megalania is believed to have shared a similar ecological niche with the modern Komodo dragon. The youngest fossil remains of these giant monitor lizards in Australia date to around 50,000 years ago. Early indigenous settlers of Australia may have encountered Megalania, potentially contributing to its extinction. Initially, Megalania was thought to be the sole member of its own genus, but it is now classified under the genus Venomous, closely related to other Australian monitor lizards. The absence of complete or nearly complete fossil skeletons has made it challenging to determine the exact dimensions of Megalania, but estimates have proposed a length of 3.5 to 7 metres, which is 11.5 to 23 feet, and a weight of between 97 to 1,940 kilograms, which is 214 to 4,277 pounds. Sir Richard Owen described the first known remains of Megalania in 1859, based on 3 vertebrae among a collection of primarily marsupial bones purchased by the British Museum. These remains were collected from the bed of a tributary of the Condamine River, west of Moreton Bay in eastern Australia. Owen coined the name Megalania prisca, meaning ancient great roamer, referencing the terrestrial nature of the large lizard. As a carnivorous apex predator, Megalania's diet would have included large mammals, birds, and other reptiles. Its powerful limbs, sharp claws, and strong jaws made it well equipped to take down large prey. Based on its size, it likely preyed on medium to large-sized animals, including giant marsupials such as Diprotodon, which was a large wombat the size of a car. We've made a video on the Diprotodon, and a link to this video will be in the description down below. It had heavily built limbs and body, a large skull with a small crest between its eyes, and jaws filled with serrated blade-like teeth. Some scientists are skeptical of the idea that Megalania was the primary predator of the Australian Pleistocene megafauna. They point out that the Marsupial Lion has been linked to the butchery of large Pleistocene mammals, whereas Megalania has not. I've also made a video on the Marsupial Lion, and a link to this will be down below in the description. Additionally, Megalania fossils are extremely rare compared to the widespread distribution of the Marsupial Lion across Australian Pleistocene deposits. Quincana, a genus of terrestrial crocodiles that grew up to 6 metres and existed until about 40,000 years ago, is also considered another apex predator of the Australian megafauna. Komodo dragons, Megalania's closest relatives, are believed to have evolved in Australia before spreading to their current range in Indonesia, as indicated by fossil evidence from Queensland. Some have suggested reintroducing Komodo dragons to Australia as an ecological proxy for Megalania to recreate pre-human arrival ecosystems. A 2009 study using Rowe's earlier size estimates and an analysis of 18 closely related lizard species estimated a sprinting speed of 2.6 to 3 metres per second, which is 9.4 to 10.8 kilometres per hour for Megalania, comparable to the speed of the extant freshwater crocodile. Megalania's scales would likely be similar to those of its living relatives, possessing a honeycomb microstructure that is both durable and resilient to water evaporation. Along with other varanid lizards such as the Komodo dragon and the Nile monitor, Megalania is part of the proposed clade Toxicophera. This clade includes all known reptile groups with toxin-secreting oral glands, as well as their close venomous and non-venomous relatives such as Iguania, Anguiomorpha, and snakes. Closely related varanids possess potent venoming glands inside their jaws. This venom has been identified as a hemotoxin, which acts as an anticoagulant, causing significant bleeding in prey. The resulting blood loss rapidly decreases the prey's blood pressure, leading to systematic shock. As a member of Anguiomorpha, Megalania may have been venomous, making it potentially the largest venomous vertebrate known. The youngest remains of Megalania date to the late Pleistocene, with the most recent possible remains being a large osteoderm from approximately 50,000 years ago found in the Mount Etna Caves National Park in central eastern Queensland. A study that examined the morphology of 9 closely related living varanid lizards and then allometrically scaled and compared them to Megalania concluded that the limb musculature, posture, muscle mass, and possible muscle composition of Megalania would likely have been inefficient for outrunning the early human settlers who colonised Australia during that time. Given that many other species of Australian megafauna went extinct around the same period, likely due to human predation or competition, it is assumed that Megalania faced similar pressures. Fossils of Megalania have been found primarily in Queensland, New South Wales and South Australia. These fossils include bones and footprints, which have helped paleontologists reconstruct its size and appearance. Confrontations between Megalania and early Aboriginal Australians may have inspired tales of fearsome creatures such as the whowie. The whowie is a creature from Aboriginal Australian mythology, described as a large fearsome beast. It's typically depicted as a giant serpent-like creature with multiple heads, or as a large lizard-like monster. It was said to be immensely strong and capable of causing great destruction. In Aboriginal stories, the whowie was a dangerous predator that would often lie in wait for unsuspecting people or animals to pass by, capturing and devouring them. It was feared for its ability to hide and strike unexpectedly. The whowie was a part of the oral traditions of several Aboriginal tribes, serving as a cautionary tale to warn against the dangers of certain areas or behaviours. Different Aboriginal groups had their own versions of the whowie, with variations in its description and the specific details of its behaviour. Despite these differences, the creature was universally regarded as a formidable and dangerous entity. Some researchers suggest that the myth of the whowie might have been inspired by ancient encounters between early Aboriginal Australians and large prehistoric reptiles like Megalania. The fearsome reputation of the whowie could reflect the real danger posed by such large predators. I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of thankful that the Megalania doesn't roam Australia anymore. I can't imagine coming up against something as large and formidable as this lizard. Whilst Australia does have many dangerous animals, such as venomous snakes, we are lucky in that they are shy and prefer to flee rather than to stalk and attack us humans. The Megalania, on the other hand, would have been large enough to devour a small child almost whole, and the venom that it likely contained would have been one heck of a situation to deal with. With that being said, it is sad to some degree that the ancient megafauna of Australia went extinct. It's amazing just how large the beasts were when indigenous Australians made Australia home. It must have been a very hard and formidable time for them. The Megalania is just one of many of the extinct megafauna that we are going to cover. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video to help YouTube promote it to other viewers. Thanks for watching.